Hello, Walking Dead fanboys and fangirls. I'm here to review The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 5, titled Safe Help. For more Walking Dead related videos, please feel free to subscribe right here for more Walking Dead videos. There's a few side notes I would like to add to this episode that I had noticed. And this right here could possibly be just a theory, but there's a scene when Abraham takes the fire truck. We see Glenn talking to Abraham after Abraham takes the fire truck, and it's revealed that they got wet up from Eugene, using the water hose that was attached to the fire truck. And Glenn asks Abraham, or he tells him, there's a Goodwill over there. It's all blown up, but I'm pretty sure it has some dry clothes we can get. Now, this scene could possibly be tied into the Carol and Daryl scene. I think it's possible that Carol and Daryl have already passed them up, and it's possible that they have already left that scene. Because in the Walking Dead Season 5 Comic-Con trailer, we see Daryl hiding on the side of a building, and we see him with his crossbow in his hand. But in the middle of the world, in the streets, we see a newspaper, and that newspaper is set on fire. And we also see a destroyed vehicle next to that newspaper that's set on fire. Now, is it possible that Daryl and Carol has already came through that way? Because if you remember The Walking Dead Season 4, when the group was split up, they was always close to each other, but every time they get close, one group always leave the scene, and then the other group always end up coming behind them. Because remember, when Lizzie had killed those rabbits and had left those dead rabbits on that log or that tree. Remember, right after they left, right after Lizzie, Mecca, Tyrese, and Carol had left that scene, Daryl and Beth ends up coming right after them, pretty much missing them. They end up following them right after, and then you see the same rabbits that Lizzie had killed. So it's possible that Daryl and Carol have already passed them up, but it's just a theory. So I think that Daryl and Carol might have been the ones that had blew up that Goodwill that Glenn was talking about when he was talking to Abraham. Next, when Eugene was looking at Rosita and Abraham have sex, he was by a whole bunch of bookshelves, and on the bookshelf, on one of the bookshelves, it says Safe Help. Now, the title of this episode is named Safe Help. Also, this could be some foreshadowing here. I could be wrong, or maybe I'm looking into too hard. But on another bookshelf, it had a title on that bookshelf, and it said Romance. Now, is it possible that Tara and Eugene could possibly be liking each other? Because remember, I know Tara is lesbian and she likes women, but you don't have choices in a zombie apocalypse. You pretty much take who you can get. You don't have pick and chooses. So could it be could that sign romance mean Tara and Eugene possibly? Because remember, when they was on the bus talking before they had that before they had that wreck, Tara was kind of giving him these looks. So is it possible that she likes Eugene because she feel like she can relate to Eugene, and also in terms of relating to him, feel like kind of feel like being a burden at one point, because Eugene in this episode revealed that he felt like a burden because he couldn't protect himself, so he depended, or he relied on strong people to help him. So he lied to him, or he told them lies for exchange for their help. Now, for the Abraham flashback. I love this flashback, but my only complaint about this flashback was how they had Eugene trying or supposedly running away from the zombie. It wasn't realistic. Now, I know The Walking Dead isn't realistic, but I'm saying though, if you fear something as you claim you do, then you shouldn't be walking or running away from something that you fear the way he was running away from it. I mean, he wasn't even running. It's like he was walking fast, screaming, help me. If you fear something, you're going to run like your life depends on it. I didn't sense no type of fear from him. The only thing I sensed, that scene was like an act. It was like he was acting that scene out. I mean, it didn't seem real to me. Or maybe they had Eugene do that, or the writers had Eugene do that or run that type of way so he could try to get Abraham's attention or try to make it look like he was weak and he couldn't defend himself. So he was hoping in his mind that Abraham would save him. So maybe that's why he was running that way. But it don't make no sense, because even he told Abraham that the zombies are starting to get faster. So why are you walking fast away from the zombie and not running? But then again, like I say, he could have did that to possibly try to get Abraham attention so Abraham can come save him, and then he can try to befriend Abraham or lie to him or try to get some protection for Abraham, so he tried to do it to get Abraham's attention. That's the only way I see him. I see them getting away with that part, by having him do something like that, but it was never explained. Now, in this flashback, it's revealed that all Abraham close male friends that he knew before the zombie apocalypse end up raping his wife and his daughter. Abraham ends up going on a food run, and he leaves his wife, his daughter, and his son at the supermarket. And after he leaves, his friends, now these are the friends they knew before the zombie apocalypse, they end up taking his wife and his daughter, raping them, and they took his son and pinned him down and forced him to watch his mother and his sister get raped in front of him, or allowed him to see his mother and his sister get raped in front of his own eyes. Abraham gets back to the store, goes into a bad blind rage, or is blinded by rage, kill every single one of his friends or old friends or used to be friends in that store. He even break one guy's neck just by putting his foot on the guy's neck and twisting it. Abraham is badass. It got to the point where his family was so scared of what he was doing, they didn't know what he was becoming. So now his wife had advised the plan to escape and leave Abraham in the store. And she even wrote on some toilet tissue or some paper, something along those lines. She wrote on the toilet tissue, "We gone, don't try to come look for us." But as soon as he get around the corner from the supermarket store, he find they dead bodies, and you can see that they didn't even reanimate. The zombies almost devoured their bodies. Wasn't nothing left. You can barely see anything left of their bodies. And Abraham breaks down crying. At this point, he loses his hope. He takes off his dog tags because those dog tags had symbolism, but at the same time, he's a sergeant. So he know that doesn't exist anymore. That ranking, all that is stripped. It doesn't exist. I don't stand for that. So he took off the dog tag, and he puts a gun in his mouth, and he's about to blow his brains out until he meet Abraham. Until he meets Eugene. When he see Eugene is in distress, that's when that army guy kicks in, and he decides to save him because he feel like that's what he's supposed to do. But something I'm so glad that the writers didn't show in this episode, but I hope they let Abraham mention it. In a Walking Dead comic book, when Abraham was talking to Rick, he bust out, he started crying. He was crying because of the fact that he killed people in the supermarket, but he also killed innocent people. And he tells Rick a very disturbing story. He tells Rick, he says, I took a child, I picked them up, and I tore them inside out with my own bare hands. Again, this man say he got a child and he turned them inside out with his own bare hands. That's how much he was blinded by rage. And that was crazy when he told Rick that. So I'm so happy the writers didn't show that scene. Although it was never shown in the comic books, he mentioned it. But I do hope he mentioned, because that right there, what really caused that deepness, that sadness, that depression. And also, at the same time of the sense of him losing his wife and his 2 kids. That caused it too. But when he did that child, it messed with him. It messed with him mentally, physically. He couldn't get over it. And if you notice with Abraham's hand, in each scene you will always see that wound always reopening and bleeding. That scene had symbolism to it. I know a lot of you probably didn't catch that scene. It's a reason why they kept showing that scene with Abraham's hand always bleeding. It was a reason. Because, like I say, Eugene was that hope. He had nothing going for himself. And I remember in The Walking Dead season 4, this is how you can tell Eugene was that hope. Because when Abraham first met Glenn and Tara, he had pulled over and killed some zombies. And Tara asks him something similar to why you do why are you doing this? I mean, she meant by why is he killing those zombies that way he was doing. He was just bashing in their brain, having fun, but at the same time he was also taking all his rage out on those zombies, just like he did that guy at the church. When he beat that guy, when he bashed that guy's skull in with the handle of his gun at that church when they killed the hunters, that was rage. He was venting. He was getting all that rage out. And every time you notice Abraham kill a zombie, it's always in a brutal way. He don't ever just kill them and just stop. He always beating them, like bashing in their brain, and he don't stop because he's venting. He's getting all that rage out. Now, the most important part about The Walking Dead, and I'm gonna tell y'all, it's about forgiveness. And Abraham hasn't learned to forget it. And I know that's why his wound always kept opening. You got to remember, and it's always an old saying, when somebody say that pain don't never last, and wounds do heal. You noticed his wound never healed in this episode. It always kept reopening back up because it was symbolism. And I really want to go deep with y'all right quick. Listen, man, you always forgive, but never forget. Or you will be a own prisoner of your hatred, doomed to repeat your mistakes forever. He almost repeated his mistakes again when he was about to beat Eugene to death. That's what that scene stood for. Remember what I just said. Always forgive, but never forget. Or else you doomed to repeat your mistakes forever. The stuff that he did in that store when he killed those people, it was a mistake. But the thing with The Walking Dead is to forget, or is to forget. Sometimes it's not good to forget everything, but it's always good to forgive the situation. Because like I said, you are doomed to repeat your mistakes again if you don't forgive them. He never forgave himself about his family death. When he murdered those men, those people in there, even the innocent, he never forgave himself. That's why he was doomed to repeat his mistake again. And he was about to make that same mistake again. With Eugene, he was about to beat this man to death after he had already UFC KO'd this man on the fire truck. He was about to, and then you see, after he did that, Rosita stepped up to the plate. And she realized this guy was in anger, so she was thinking, I have to put him down. If he don't stop, I have to put him down. And he noticed that because he was blind through his rage. He was so blind and upset until he didn't notice what he was doing. I want to talk about the wound that's on Abraham's hand one more time. Sometimes the worst wounds are not the ones that's on the outside. Sometimes the worst wounds could be the ones that's inside because it make us bleed eternally. And I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally when I say that sometimes the wounds that's in the inside could be worse than the ones on the outside, the physical cuts. Because the wound that's in the inside make us, like I say, make us bleed eternally. And you see how that pain, when I talk about bleed internally, I talk about how we suffer, how pain is. And you see how that pain is in Abraham. This guy, that hand wound might not hurt Abraham on the outside, but in the inside, that pain, that wound, all that pain that he still carried from the death of his family, that pain that's inside of him is causing him, is making him bleed eternally. It's causing pain. And like I say, that cure was hope for him. And now he has no hope. We see a man who's lost. And also in this scene, we see a whole bunch of zombies at a ranch because Abraham and the rest of his group was heading towards, they were following the map, but they end up finding a ranch they have to go through. But they can't because they have too many zombies. And it's herd of zombies. It's so bad where you can smell zombies from a long distance. The rotten, decaying smell is out there. It's not, you ain't have to get close to them. It's in the air. It's bad. That's how bad that ranch is. That's how bad that ranch is covered with zombies. When you can smell the decay in the air. That's bad. And I agree with them not wanting to go. And in this episode, like I said, Abraham, he beats up Eugene. And also, like I said, this could be some foreshadowing of Eugene possibly hooking up with Tara, because when he told Tara about what he did to the church van, when he put glass in the gas tank and he caused a church van to cause that wreck, he said he did it intentionally. But if you notice, he only told Tara, and he even tells Tara. He said, I don't know why, but I don't know why I told you, but I only told you. I didn't tell nobody else. He didn't say I didn't tell nobody else, but he said, I only told you. I don't know why. That might be some foreshadowing. And also in this episode, I think Tara might have got a little jealous when she saw Abraham and Rosita having sex, because you can see her go to the bookshelf that Eugene was looking out of, and you can see how Tara's like, dang, she said something like that. She kind of walked off. Because remember, when Abraham was talking to Tara in season 4 of The Walking Dead that night, he told her, he said, I see the way you look at, I see the way you look at Rosita. I see the way you look at her when she raises up her shirt and stuff. So he know Tara is gay. He know that Tara like Rosita, but now that's out the box. Definitely no hooking up. And like I say, this episode could have happened after Carol and Daryl passed it up, because they're heading 2 different ways. Daryl and Carol are following a car. They're not heading to Washington, D.C., so I don't think they possibly saw that ranch too with all those zombies, because they head 2 different ways. So this right here was my review. And like I said, if I didn't mention, you can see how Eugene was talking about redemption, because he told Tara in the church van, he said he was talking about Father Gabriel. He said he told Tara, I was just thinking about what that pastor or what that guy had did. And he wasn't thinking about the fact of Father Gabriel locking all those people out of the church. He was thinking of the fact how they forgave Father Gabriel for what he did. And now he's hoping that that Abraham forgive him. That's the reason why he was thinking about Father Gabriel when he told Tara, I was thinking about that preacher. I was thinking about all this stuff that preacher did at the church. It wasn't the bad stuff. It's the fact that they forgave, how Rick forgave Father Gabriel. And he's hoping that he gets that from Abraham. That's what it was. So that's all for this episode. Not much really happened. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to give me a like on the video, or a thumbs up, and share the video, because they help other people see the video if they interested in The Walking Dead. So have a blessed day. Love you all, and peace.